Martin Luther King Jr. was more than a minister. He was the leader of the civil rights movement, along with other iconic figures, with a dream to end racism and for African Americans to have equal civil and economic rights as Caucasians. Despite all the progress, Martin Luther King Jr. and other prominent leaders such as Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, and Frederick Douglass, racial discrimination, police killings, and inequality still exist to this very day. So where do we go from here?
Becoming aware of the injustices and systematic racism against Black people is the first step to change. Growing up and learning about my history, I've noticed that sharing knowledge isn't going to fix this problem alone. We as people have to learn to apply and live by this knowledge even when it isn't convenient to do so. This can be done by simply standing up for that young boy who's walking through your neighborhood or calling attention to when someone isn't being treated equally. Understand that being a Black person in today's society is anything but peaceful, and sharing your trials and tribulations can provide insight to others who don't understand our situation.
In the past, America has overcome its struggles, and this country's people are strong enough to do it again. The struggle of African Americans is real, and that was exemplified by the police brutality that led to the death of George Floyd. But the response to his death showed the strength of Americans is too. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "The true neighbor will risk his position, his prestige, and even his life for the welfare of others." Americans have come together to support their fellow oppressed citizens before, and they can do it again to guarantee the continuation of the melting pot they know and love.
We have to vote locally and support those who support the best interests of all of us. We have to speak out against injustice and demand our rights, no matter what we look like, and hold ourselves and others accountable as well. It must start small before it can go big. The protests this summer made noise, and while everyone wanted to distract from the true message, we remained focused, peaceful, and on track. And there's no doubt we were heard. We have to take that momentum with us into the future and educate those who struggle to understand our fight and plight. We have to be intentional on purpose and keep justice as the mission.
Defeating racial equality starts with us, and we have the power to change the world, one day at a time and one generation at a time. First, we must be aware of our own prejudice. Undoubtedly, biases and prejudices are deep within us all, and it is crucial to be aware of them in order to change our thoughts, ideas, and actions. In order to comprehend and understand this vexatious issue, we must educate ourselves so that in turn we may educate our children, the generations of our future.
Our challenge is to see the big picture and take the first active step to bring us closer to the end goal. The journey to change of any kind is a collection of many steps made by people who seek to take action and not settle for being a spectator on the sidelines. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. For the most part, we can all agree that 2020 was a year that shed light on where people truly stood on racial and social injustice. With the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many others at the center of rage in our community, people worldwide had to make difficult decisions that could no longer be personal silence.
White Americans listened to the words of Martin Luther King Jr. and realized that the evil of racism was true and that Black Americans should be treated with equality and respect. Mr. King's commitment to humanity was not an overnight turn of events, as it has taken greater than 50 years to get where we are now. Slowly, discrimination has eased as new generations have been taught to recognize equality.
Looking forward to the future, creating justice for all is possible and realistic through reflection and correction of one's own personal judgments and assumptions.
While I can't solve systemic racism or social injustice, what I can do, and what we must all do, is look at ourselves and to look to others. We need to look into our hearts and let others who have been denied their stories, even though their stories hurt us, especially if they hurt, to be able to tell them.